Pill Nation Hangout number 445. Yeah, we got we got three people jumping in already. All right. Well, we got tonight's show's going to be kind of interesting because mostly what's going on tonight is more or less a lot of it is a continuation of some of the stuff that happened, like at least the first three topics anyway, are a continuation of topics that happened last week. But I am your host and still somewhat sane creator of the Red Pill Nation Hangout. With me tonight is Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot, by the way, you need to send me an avatar here really quick so that I could put it into the feed tonight. Otherwise, it's I made one for Roger. But joining me tonight is one of my usual companions and somebody, I don't know whether I've had him on before or not, but he is here tonight. But we'll start out with the usual Mr. Robot's unmuted himself before Roger. So yeah, Roger, you're just gonna have to wait. Mr. Robot, reintroduce yourself.
Hello, folks. I'm Mr. Robot. I've been red pilling myself for probably about 25 years now, just actively doing research into the stories behind the stories, and it's an honor to be here. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robot. And yeah, if you can, on Teams, if you could post up an avatar or something.
Roger's got my avatar. I sent it to you last time.
Maybe I've got it. Maybe I've got it somewhere. Let me take a look here. I'll find it. But Roger, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Roger Hansen. I do a lot of shit.
Yes, you do.
I mean, a lot of shit. Like, right before I did this, I was actually simulcasting Censorship Suck. Before that, I was editing Elder Scrolls Arena. So my day is pretty mixed up, and that's basically how it goes.
Okay. Well, here, let me just take a look here. Maybe I do have you in here somewhere. So I do have chair logos on here. Bill Butcher, Manuel Pastrich, Mark Edworthy, Mr. A.
Roger, did you send it to him last time?
Yes, I did. I can pull it back up for you if I can. Now I can post the picture back up on Teams if you can't find it.
Yeah, I usually, everybody who's appeared on the show, I've got a specific page in my computer where I save a copy of their photo. Yeah, so
there you go. He's very, very anonymous about his identity. That's the thing about Mr. Robot. So that's his hacker radio.
I have to be in my line of work, I live in a totalitarian state.
Oh yeah, you in Australia?
Yeah.
Oh my God, no wonder. Holy moly.
Yeah, they'll come for me.
Yeah, it's not that it's much better where I am in Canada at this point.
Oh yeah, well, we're cut from the same cloth of the Commonwealth of Nations, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, or we could also what happened with Vinny Eastwood over in Australia, in New Zealand. Oh my God! Wow, he's just
what happened there?
Oh, just constant, like criminal charges and harassment, and he has to disappear for periods of time. It's like, yeah, it's been kind of a shit show for him, but somehow he manages to keep his sense of humor, which is good on him.
A bunch of podcasters here had to leave Australia because the government were harassing them so much because they were just doing political commentary. And they had to go to the US to get free speech because we don't have free speech laws here.
Yeah, well, it's pretty close to being the same thing. Well, not quite. Without getting into too much. Where the hell did I put it? Oh, great. Am I going to have to save it again?
You could just type in Mr. Robot on any search engine and get a generic, Mr. Robot avatar.
Okay, hold on a second here. Oh, I puts in pictures. No goddamn wonder. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, I can find it here.
Right exactly where it was supposed to go.
Well, no, I have a specific no, I have a
I know.
specific file that I keep
I do
that
too.
I keep all the people who share on my show in. That way I don't lose them. There you are. Found you. All right, then I'm gonna add you up. So yeah, food for thought tonight. And this just kind of ties in to some of the stuff that I was seeing on the news and with everything that's been going on. Like, I mean, when I posted up 444, for instance, what I did is I posted it up on MeWe. And literally, and I wish I was lying about this, but yeah, somebody actually started calling me a fucking Nazi and a fascist.
Oh man, that's such a cliche now. It's funny, most people who use those words don't even know what they mean.
And of course, I get dropped out and brought back in as the. So yeah, literally, somebody called me a Nazi, and right when I said that too, right? Literally called me a Nazi and a fascist, and it was like, okay, bud, show me the place where I have endorsed the Nazis. Show me the place in the video where I endorsed Nazis or fascism. This should come as absolutely no shock to anybody involved. Couldn't do it and wouldn't do it, no matter.
I mean,
Most people who use the word Nazi don't even know what it means. It's just such a cliche nowadays.
well, I mean, for me, it was like I was saying while I was muted, didn't realize it, but I've been guilty on my show, Untethered, of calling people Nazis and shit too. It's so, I mean, I'm not guilt free,
Now,
you know. And to be fair, I've been called a freaking woke son of a bitch.
Oh, I've had the pleasure of being called a Nazi and a Jew 3 times, not by different people in the same week, 3 different times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Jewish
it's funny that
Nazi.
the word Nazi is making a comeback now. Like it was pretty much gone during the early 2000s. I thought, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, it's gone forever.
yeah, you did not see that coming. All right. So yeah, the other, the other, the other thought for today is, and this is one I think is really kind of interesting because I know Roger knows what I'm talking about here, because this comes directly from the fellowship, and uh, there's a step in the fellowship known as a step 2, which is came to believe that a higher power could restore us to sanity, and the definition of insanity in the fellowship and the 12-step fellowships is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result. What has gone on, and when we want to get into the actual topics tonight, I will get into this in more detail. What I have been seeing is, I keep seeing the same individuals on my social media feeds mindlessly supporting the narrative. And this has really become very obvious with the LA riots, mostly because it's like there's been so much, like, I mean, they've been caught so often and so frequently attempting to astroturf or artificially inflate what's going on there, to the point where anybody who openly supports it is quite clearly either too stupid, too lazy, or too indoctrinated to actually check. And when you're dealing, I took this a step further, and when you're dealing with individuals who are like this and just refuse to listen no matter what you tell them, you kind of have to make a decision in your life, and that is like, do you want to continue to listen to these people bleed on? I mean, it's like bleed on about this stuff and just like refuse to even pay attention, even when you show them evidence that contravenes clearly what it is they're talking about. And I had to come, and this actually ties into some other stuff that's been going on in my life lately, but I had to make a decision this week. I probably purged specifically off my Instagram, and probably I'm going to be doing the same thing on my Twitter, and maybe, well, not so much my Facebook. I've been pretty careful about who I follow on Facebook, but on Twitter and Instagram, I probably purged off about 200 people that I was following. Most of them I just didn't interact with, but it's like, I don't need the aggravation of seeing this stupidity being tossed in my face all the goddamn time, right? And I don't think any of us here need to have it either. If they want to come and pick a fight with me, they can come and pick a fight with me, right? But yeah, I don't have to. I
couldn't be logging into Instagram or Facebook anymore. It's just so much propaganda on there. Yeah, it just aggravates me. I just post my propaganda and leave.
Yeah, if they come at me, that's a different story. But it's like, yeah, I really cannot be bothered. I purged a lot of people specifically off my Instagram this week, and I will probably be doing the same thing with Twitter. So the topics for tonight are for those of you who don't know, I am at, in order of size, BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, MGTOW TV, Brighteon, and YouTube. And YouTube's probably going to be pulling up a dead last for a while. Facebook, Minds, Gab, MeWe, Getter, and TLB Talks are the other sites that I'm at. I'm not going to go into any of the other stuff. There are some structural changes that I'm going to be making to my podcast as I go along. For instance, at some point I'm going to be putting it up on Spotify, but I can't afford to do that right now. So without any further ado, we've already done the introduction. So let's just let's just start out with talking about the topics here. So tonight's topics are: 1, LA riots are exposed multiple times as Astroturf. Boy, that one's going to take a while. 2, No King's Day turns into a nothing burger, despite claims on MSM and leftist sites. 3, Democratic members of Congress assassinated, leftists attempt to blame Trump. 4, Israel sends jets into Iran, creating yet another international incident. 5, Bluesky is now officially collapsing, whereas everybody knew it was collapsing before. Now they know about it. And topic number 6 is kind of interesting. Ballerina fails at the box office, not because the movie is bad, because it's actually not bad. I went and saw it yesterday, but because of how Hollywood has been acting. That one's kind of unfortunate because I did go see Ballerina last night, and it was actually a pretty decent movie. Like, I've got no complaints about that movie and the caliber of the movie at all, but it's not doing well at the box office. Although, who knows, it might have some legs. But anyway, getting into story number 1 here, just as soon as I get the timestamp in here. Okay, so it was pretty obvious, right? I won't say it was obvious right from the start that the LA riots were Astroturf, but I mean, after it went on for multiple days and it just, like, things just didn't seem to add up. Yeah,
like the police stand down. Like, you hardly saw the police actually interacting with the crowd.
Yeah, with a couple of somebody's got their okay, yeah, Roger. Thank you, Roger. Somebody the police took a couple of the LAPD took a couple of days. The deliberate and intentional fanning of the flames of both the mayor of LA and the governor of California and various Democrat leaders. Like that was stuff that happened right on the very first day. And of course, also the misrepresentations in the media versus what you saw on the alt media channels, which were clearly exposing this stuff as like straight up AstroTurf. As we went along, things began to expand. Somebody looked at the mayor of LA's past, and it turns out that the now current mayor of LA had made several trips to Cuba for in what amounted to indoctrination camps when she was in her teens and early 20s, where she learned stuff like how to engage in insurgency. One of the financiers ended up is based out of China and has clear ties with the CCP. There was a situation where the mainstream media, of all people, caught somebody distributing a type of mask that you can't buy in bulk, except at Walmart. And
those full face respirators. Is that what you mean?
What?
Were they those full face respirators?
Yeah, those full face. Yeah, you can't buy those in bulk. Yeah, those are expensive. Yeah, those are $60 a pop, right?
They were just handing them out like candy. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was like the only place that has them in a large amount is Walmart. And guess what happened? I don't necessarily think it was one of Sam Walton's kids, but she's married to one of Sam's Walton's kids. Turned out to be a big supporter of the riots. And of course, you had Hollywood jumping in. And as we went along, and when we get into topic number 2, we will probably get into this a little bit more. This No Kings event that happened yesterday had a rather convenient bit of timing involved in it, to say the least. The fact that it just happened to come up the weekend after the LA riots, I'm going to just say it, probably not a coincidence. You had the usual Hollywood idiots come out and say stuff, and you had and again, right, this stuff might have worked had it not been for the alt media, which, by the way, is why in Australia, in Canada, in Britain, in New Zealand, everywhere pretty much except for the US at this point, they are desperately trying to get the alt media either eliminated entirely or under really strict or almost Orwellian rules that really prevent it from covering stories. And this really specifically came to mind around this, because had it not been for the alt media debunking a lot of the stuff that was being said by the mainstream media right now, the situation could have, specifically, and this is the whole thing about the No Kings riots that kind of like stand out with me, is the fact that they were kind of hoping, I suspect, that the No Kings riots or the No Kings quote unquote protests were going to ignite a nationwide riot, and it didn't. Ron DeSantis basically, for instance, gave law enforcement in Florida full authority to crack down on the protesters as they saw fit. A lot of other places, specifically in red states, but even in some of the blue states, decided that they weren't going to fuck around. Even a lot of the blue cities in red states also didn't. They also, like, literally, it turned into a nothing burger. But that's for another topic here. There's just have to say this, man. Donald Trump and the Justice Department is going to have to go after the financial backers of this particular event, and you're going to have to start going after the people who are the money people behind this, because this, had there not been an alt media around for this could have gotten really out of hand, like really seriously out of hand. Fortunately, it didn't, because too many people who pay attention to the alt media knew about it. And oh yeah, you gotta love one last thing, because just looking at the photo that we've got up here right now, I'm trying to figure out the logic of illegals from Mexico who come up to the US illegally, get arrested and get booted, and are busy waving around a Mexican flag when they're not in Mexico, and they left Mexico to, quote, quote, be an economic refugee in a country that pays better. You know, in another time, in another place, this would have been considered an invasion, and that's probably the reason why Trump called in the Marines, because this is, although it isn't been declared, it is an invasion. This was an attempt, I think, to try to overthrow or destabilize the government. And while I'm not, again, myself and Roger are definitely not Team Trump, it is definitely in the best interest of the U.S. government to start going after some of the money people. So who wants to go next, Mr. Robot?
Sure. There's a lot there, man. I tell you what, I was kind of pro-Trump to start with, but he's like massively disappointed me, and I worry that he's actually showing his true colors now, as he's like starting this war. Like, I mean, this whole blind support of Israel and everything was a red flag for me, but I just kind of chalked it off to boomeriness, but he just continually keeps doing the wrong thing. And at some point, you got to be like, it can't just be incompetence, like Pam Bondi, like, she has done nothing that actually like changes the political landscape at all. Like you said, like, it's very clear what needs to be done. Everyone in the public can see it. This No Kings protest, for example, right? You go to their website, nokingsmovement.com, you click on the About page, and there it says, "We reject billionaire control," right? And it has this section on how they're against billionaires. But then you go on Zero Hedge, and they break down who's actually funding this thing, and it's a bunch of billionaires connected to Arabella Advisors, which are like George Soros, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Reid Hoffman, Hans-Org Weiss, and they're all billionaires, and they've been spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this protest. And it's just like, the hypocrisy is phenomenal. And I can't remember her name, but one of the lady members of Congress have actually gone on TV and explained this stuff, yet the federal government is doing nothing. And it just boggles my mind. The cognitive dissonance, it's just like, something must be going on. Either they're compromised. That's all I can think at this stage, So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. But like, the public pressure definitely needs to step up, because I think America is kind of founded on like the power of the people. The people are meant to be holding the government to account, and I think that's what really needs to happen here for a positive outcome. So that's what I'll say for now. But Roger, did you want to say anything?
Yes, I do want to say something, but you have to let me figure out where the mute buttons are, because I want to be able to say this and
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay, so we're still on the LA riots, right?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Or,
Yes, we are.
the LA protests. I went on and I'm sorry, but guys, I watched the live footage on that. And that was a riot. That was pathetic. I did this before, back when they had their protests supposed in Portland, and all I got to say is these people are pussies. Okay, um, if they don't know how to properly riot, then they need to at least go and look at the riots from the '90s, back whenever that one was going on, because at least there was like buildings burning and cops running left and right and police getting shot at and stuff. And um, when I looked at that, I was like, dude, freaking! All I saw was a bunch of fat cops standing around with nothing to do, and then like this plastic bag went rolling by the camera like 3 or 4 different times, and that was it. It was 8 p.m. at night, California time. So these people took time out of their quote unquote rioting to freaking go home and have a good night's rest so they can come back and do it again the next day.
Oh well, I mean, they found ads. What's the name of that site where you can go and look for work? I can't remember what the name of it is called. The one that advertises adult models for adult models and stuff.
I don't even.
No, there's a site. It's I can't remember because I haven't gone and checked it in years. But it used to, I used to do job searches on there because they would post up jobs on there that weren't advertised anywhere else, and some of them were I actually got a job through, and actually one of the better paying jobs I've ever had. But on there, they were actual ads of people looking for like paid protesters, like $3,000 a month and stuff like that. Yeah. Also, and I mean, I don't want to start getting because we have more than a few people in my group that seem to see Jews behind every blade of grass.
Mm-hmm.
And I always point out, it's like, there's Soros for one, obviously, but there's also a number of Jews that are actively fighting against it. So it's like, I mean, when you start talking about the Jews, it's not the Jews, it's just some of them, right?
And to be fair, Soros is not a practicing Jew. He's Jew by
just
birth.
a Jew. He's just a Jew in name only. Yeah. But the two people who organized the No King event are Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna make it. It's gonna get a few people. It's gonna get a few people going who follow the show. But I mean, yeah, I saw a photo of them. They're both Jewish, and it's like,
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's like, yeah, okay. Normally I don't bring that up, but that stood out for me like a sore thumb, right? It's like, you got guys like I don't know what Avi Yemeni's reputation is in Australia, but you got guys like Avi Yemeni and Ezra Levant and Ben Shapiro and Sargon of Akkad there's a lot of Jews that are actively opposed to this, right? But you've also got people like the people who organized No Kings, right? And it's like, you got to be able to judge the person by the person, not by their ethnicity or their religious affiliation. That's all I'm saying, right?
Well, that's kind of where I was wanting to go with this too, because I mean, you've heard me do this before, and I've mentioned it on some other shows that I've streamed on, like with Nancy Planetta, about Mr. Robot's heard me talk about this a lot. Now, I brought it up before any of this ever started about the crap that Donald Trump has been pulling with this freaking immigration shit. Okay, and I told him that bad shit was going to come down the pipeline, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're just you're just a horrible freaking wokester and shit like that. And I'm like, no, dude, this is some serious shit. They go and they freaking see now what these supposed conservatives, which I call national socialists, wanted everybody to think was freaking in the beginning was we're going to take these people who are just illegally here in the country, we're going to ship them back down to El Salvador and put them in a freaking prison, and if not there, we're going to stick them in Guantanamo Bay, and that was okay. That was okay with them, okay. But now these horrible insurgents that they're calling them is freaking protesting on the street because, oh, we didn't do nothing bad. We just wanted to send a bunch of Hispanics to a freaking foreign country and put them in a freaking prison because they had the audacity to come to the United States. How dare them dirty little freaking Latin good for nothing bastards. Now that it's on their doorstep and there's people that are freaking actually protesting and causing a problem for these guys, they don't want to mention the fact that they wanted to ship them over to another country and put them behind bars. You know what I mean? What I remember deportation being is you pick them up, put them on a bus, and you drop them off. You don't put them in no freaking detention centers for that shit in a foreign country, more or less. You know what I mean? And they were all big about saying that shit. I heard all these stupid assholes screaming blood, dude, saying freaking death to freaking these illegal freaking criminals, death to these fucking pedophiles. And they always want to add pedophiles into it. You know what I mean? Everything has to do with pedophiles. Freaking, and of course, like you just said, next we start bad mouthing the Jews who have absolutely nothing to do with Mexicans whatsoever or anybody from South America. And that's how insane these people have gotten.
Well, what I worry about is that they're setting a precedent. This is the old Hegelian dialectic where they create a problem and then there's a public outcry and the solution is actually the next problem. And so, it might seem like a good idea right now. Oh, let's, pass this big beautiful bill with extreme AI control of the country so that we can get the illegals out. But what's going to happen when the next people get into power and have these crazy powers to track and control everyone? It just it doesn't matter who's in power. I just see this movement towards more, domination and control, mostly of the public.
Yep, Sam Tripoli, ceremonial changing of the crime families.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that the way it's the best description I've heard is that Donald Trump, Rand Paul, that group, they're part of the Pax America crime family. The upside with the Pax America crime family, as long as you're willing to play ball, as long as you're not interfering with their business interests, they'll leave you alone. The globalists, on the other hand, want to tell you what to think, what to say, what to wear, what to eat, what to drive. It's but either side, no matter which way it goes, if Pax Americana wins, well, okay, the economy chugs along into the late 30s before it collapses, where if you got the globalists, the economy might not even make it to 2030 as it's going, right? So it's like...
but they're both bad options in a way, It's like
they are.
They're not fighting for the people. They've got their own agendas. You know what I mean? And for anyone listening, I recommend, especially if you're an American, to get familiar with the website opensecrets.org. You go on there and you click on political action committees, and you can see who are the top people, organizations funneling money into different politicians, Congress, and stuff like that. And you'll see on there the American Israel Public Affairs Committee is the third from the top donors to congressional people. and then they're not obviously labeled as a foreign entity influencing politics, which is still crazy to me.
Again,
But
like I don't, like I say, I get a little annoyed, and there's one particular guy who I never listened to, Nick Fuentes. I mean, like Nick Fuentes seems fucking convinced that there's a Jew behind every fucking blade of grass, right?
I love
yeah,
that.
he's
It's the
at
truth.
least not fanatical. Like his followers are more fanatical than him, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, on mine just a few days ago, and no word of a lie, I actually saw this. Somebody posted up a article claiming that the Jews were the ones who invented homosexuality, and it's like, what are you fucking stupid?
Yeah.
Are you fucking stupid, man? Homosexuality was mentioned in the Bible before the Jews were even a race,
Well,
right? Like,
you know the
Even before
thing.
the Bible, the Greeks and stuff, like
yeah,
Okay, let me say this too. You know, when you have two dogs, okay, and and I know this might sound horrible, but it's true. If you have two male dogs and you freaking have them around each other long enough, especially big dogs, you're gonna catch one of them trying to get the other one up the butt. Okay, now that shit is an animal instinct. So, and I hate saying that freaking that's what it is when it comes to humans, but people freaking you need to wake up. You know, you have human and you have animal instincts, and there's an animal instinct in you that is telling you that you want to be homosexual. I guess you know what I
well,
mean.
I would call it an urge, not an instinct necessarily. Instincts help you survive,
Well, I mean, I would say urge too, but instincts just sound so much cooler. You know what I'm saying?
The instinct to be gay. Oh Jesus.
You know, it's like this urge to go out in the backyard and fuck another male. That's basically what you're going through, and I think that if a lot of people would look at things that way, then it would make more sense on a natural way of
I think
being.
I seen a documentary of two male monkeys jacking each other off. It's quid pro quo. It's what politicians do. It's like I do something for you, you do something for me.
Yeah, you know, and that's my personal take on it. You know what I mean? It drives me crazy when I sit and I hear these people say this shit. And for me, I just I've been trying my best to keep my sanity, but it really hasn't worked well. I actually did call freaking a lot of these guys Nazis on, but then I got better
Well,
the second time, and I just mentioned Nazis the second time.
I
And
see both sides of the argument with the whole Jewish question. Like, they want to be treated like when it suits them, they want to be treated as a group. Like, and call everyone who's against them or like everyone who disagrees with them an anti-Semite, and they use these like victim mentality to control the conversation and stuff like that. So from that perspective, I can sort of treat them as a group when they do something not good, and but on the other hand, I also see that there's of course diversity in their group. There's lots of different viewpoints. There's a lot of Jews I really like that have actually come out and spoken out against the narrative, like Glenn Greenwald. Who's that comedian guy? But Lee Camp. There's a lot of really awesome ones out there. But yeah, just sometimes they're not doing themselves any favors at the moment because they are actually acting like Nazis as a group, right now. That's the great irony of it all. They're putting people in concentration camps, committing genocide, all this stuff, and it's just like the whole Nazi thing holds no water anymore. You've lost it,
well, I've gone ballistic on all of them. I mean, even the ones like these Trump touters, they're the worst of all. And freaking the way that people are treating each other when it comes to this shit is horrible. You know what I mean? Because like they aren't freaking like back in the day, man. People had actual serious conversations about this stuff, and they freaking could do it in a sane way. Now, whenever you have these conversations, it breaks out in an argument, and people.
Yeah, well, it's become like a trigger word. It's been sort of implanted in people's consciousness as like a knee jerk reaction word. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay, guys. V has joined us. V, we're still on topic number one. The LA riots exposes Astroturf. Introduce yourself and then have your say, and then we'll move on. Sorry, guys, I have to keep the show moving.
All
Okay.
good.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about gluing the button on the side of my iPhone down so I get some notifications. Like what's going on, Yeah, I'm B, and I'm here. Post the Red Pill Hardcore radio show. This is on fire still.
Yeah, V, you have to get closer to your phone because you're breaking up, man.
Ooh, okay. And see, I had an issue with internet last time.
You're
I'm
good.
hoping it's fixed now.
It works. It's better now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, riots. Last time I talked about riots, I got jumped on by white supremacists online.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, so they were making fun of black people who were rioting because of social unrest for injustices, right? Oh, look at these primitive people, and then I post up a meme about white people rioting because they lost a soccer game.
Oh, they do that in Europe all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
Do that in Canada. What the hell are you talking about? You guys have
Yeah.
more riots now than freaking anywhere in North America. Shit.
Did you see?
That's what I'm
Did you
saying.
guys see all the pallets of bricks and stuff that's been dropped off for the riot right on time?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen stories about that yet. I probably will at some point in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, V, continue, and then we have to move on to topic 2 here.
Well, I know you want to keep the show moving, and I don't want to hold things up. So let's go to topic number 2.
Okay, topic number 2. Okay, hold on a second here. Oh, today. Oh, sorry, yesterday. The No King's Day. Now that's part of the thing. I guess it kind of tied. This kind of segues not this because, like I said, we were talking specifically about the fact, and I'm not big on. I'm not big on the Jew behind every blade of grass crowd, but but I pointed out, and that's why we kind of went off on this tangent here about the fact that the two people who organized No King's Day were both of the Jewish persuasion. That being aside, the fact that they set this up a week, like literally right on the heels of the LA riots and the way they organized it, is not a coincidence. Ron DeSantis pretty much gave carte blanche to the authorities in Florida to use whatever legal force they had to do if the No Kings crew actually tried to cause disturbances in Florida. And by the way, there were protests. And they were just protests. I suspect they were going to try to turn this into a riot situation. The only problem is that too many people on the other side knew what was going on and were prepared for it. So when these events took place, a lot of in some places there was hardly anybody at all. Obviously, in places like LA and Seattle and New York, there was a large contingent. But I mean, if you go on Threads, for instance, and you look at what's going on in Threads, they're acting as though this was a massive success. If you go on some of the alt channels, though, and you see what the actual protests were like, and how big they actually were, most of them ended up being a huge nothing burger. And this is very typical of propagandists, and specifically leftist propagandists. What they'll do is they will take photographs of whatever. For instance, there was a fairly large contingent that showed up for the No Kings event in Ann Arbor, Michigan. What they don't mention about Ann Arbor, Michigan, is that Ann Arbor, Michigan is a university town. University of Michigan, one of the largest universities in, actually probably one of the largest, like in terms of actual outright number of students and so forth, one of the largest universities in the world. So yeah, of course there was going to be a lot of people showing up there. And of course they tried to contrast that up to Trump's birthday, but Trump didn't make that big of a deal out of his birthday. But yeah, you keep looking and looking and looking and looking. And there's not a, like, I'm familiar enough now with how the media and how the NPC crowd like will try to post up camera angles to make their events look bigger than they actually are, as opposed to, for instance, when they show pictures of opposition protests, and what they'll do is they will stand back and they will zoom out as far as they can to make the event look as small as humanly possible. And it's kind of hard to find an actual image that actually shows the size of the crowd. But I did actually find one. They tried to make, of course, they did it close up, so they tried to make it look a whole lot bigger than it actually was. And it ran for about 2 minutes, and I actually counted the number of people at that actual protest. There's only like 50. I will say one more thing before I turn it over, and here's what we'll do. We will go Mr. Robot V, and then Roger will take it. That we'll bring it up. We'll finish up with each topic here, unless somebody absolutely needs to go second or whatever. Yeah.
He didn't like my comment about the homosexual thing. That's what it is. That's why I got put at the rear.
Damn straight, dude.
It's just an instinct, Roger.
It's an instinct.
Damn straight, dude.
Sonia says she agrees with you that it is an urge, not a instinct. Just wanted to put that out there for you guys.
Yeah, thanks. So my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, so the thing, like, whenever something like this happens and it's clearly orchestrated, I'm always interested in like following the money, because that'll often tell you what more accurately what's going on than the mainstream media.
Oh, that's me as well. Continue.
Yeah, so I recommend people just go on Twitter, for example, and type in like funding No Kings, and you'll find lots of posts on like what's going on. I recommend checking out the website datarepublican.com/No Kings, one word, and you'll see all the NGOs that are linked to this No Kings rally, and with the amounts of money that they're donating. And the top 4 is like 3500.org, A Jewish Voice for Peace, A Strong Economy for All Coalition, and ACLU Foundation of Texas, and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, you'll just see like the millions and millions of dollars being spent on this. And you can go and click into any one of those NGOs, and like the top donor is the 350.org, and it's like an environmental organization that's like against fossil fuels, and like they were like protesting the Keystone Pipeline and stuff like that. What has that got to do with immigration? It's interesting, like how all these seemingly different organizations are coming together for this crazy riot. So yeah, that's one thing I'll say to look at. Yeah.
Are you done?
I'm done. There's so many areas to go into this, but that's my main It's like
I mean,
Okay, hold on a second. I'm looking at the post by Kyle Becker on Twitter right now. The American National Red Cross.
yeah.
Planned Parenthood. What the hell does that have to do
Mm.
with immigrants?
Bill Gates' dad ran Planned Parenthood at one point.
Yeah. The Sierra Club. The Sierra Club.
Oh wow. Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, V.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you're coming in just fine now. Yeah.
Right. Trying to get headphones to work for the past 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Talk to leftists. Was anything have to do with anything? That's the first question you're going to ask any leftist about anything. I mean, isn't it? Yeah, no, seriously. Connect the dots for me. Yeah, I don't know. I've been so isolated with my own stuff. You guys are like the news for me right now. Catching up here. Yeah, I mean, nothing burger, no King's Day. So does that mean I can't have any Burger King?
I haven't seen any of the latest because I don't get American news here, so I don't know what's actually happened over the weekend. But I was trying to look at like some live streams and stuff while it was starting out, and there was so little footage of like the big things that happened, you know. So I wonder, I still wonder like how big did this thing actually turn out as? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to say this. I mean, oh, by the way, there was no king in the U.S. before these protests. There was no king during, and there was no king afterwards. Continue, V.
No, just a puppet. You know, the presidents of the corporations. But anyways, no, I mean, you know, I'll be impressed. I'll actually, you know, look at some of this kind of stuff if it like comes, I don't know, federal holiday. You know, none of this stuff is obviously official. I mean, even the gay month of June is that what it is? Gay month, Pride.
Yeah, Pride Month. Yeah.
Don't get me started on the gay folks.
I mean, that's not even official, is it? I mean, I'd say let's make it official. I would love a federal holiday that lasts a month. Yeah, no work for a month. Hey, I'm okay with that. Yeah,
Are we gonna have a straight
Okay,
Pride month as well for 2 months of the year party?
Holy moly! Like there's a National Organization of Women. What the hell do they have to do with immigrants? Right?
Yeah.
Reproductive freedom. You know, like this is complete and total AstroTurf.
This is all the communist attack on America, on the world, really, at the moment, and that's where all these seemingly different organizations sort of meet up. In my mind, is like they all this like crazy socialist funded organizations that just.
I hear that all the time too. Where are these damn communists? Is there some Harvey Oswald ready to take out Trump? I mean, what's going on here?
Well, it's a complex issue that you have to learn through terminology. It's not actually communism. It's socialism.
Yep. Haven't you heard though? I mean, that Trump stood there and let a guy with really shitty aim take a shot at his head, turn his head at just the right moment, and the people that were standing immediately behind him that got hit with bullets just up and shot themselves with the same caliber bullets that came out of this guy's rifle right at the same time.
I'm surprised
it was faked.
Bullet from the grassy knoll.
and it just also just coincidentally happened to be the only speaking event that CNN chose to cover on Trump's entire presidential campaign.
That's crazy. That's treason in my mind. Why are these people being hung? Do you guys think that was a second shooter?
My God.
Come on, I just.
They just released some more disclosure stuff. Okay, we don't need to start having disclosure on Donald Trump too.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what I mean? It's like, God, seriously. Like they're going to give you anything good. You know what I mean? It's like,
We'll get some UFO information before we get that.
okay.
Well, yeah,
Anyways, I'm done.
it,
Go ahead.
All right,
it's interesting that Trump's policies are kind of semi circumventing the Constitution, and it almost creates like a pretext for totalitarian control, even if he doesn't end up using it. Someone in the future could. So I think it's like someone else said. They should rather use the militia or like reorganize the militias to protect the country rather than like creating these huge federal enforcement branches, that can be corrupted. Because as far as I understand, that's how America was intended to be protected constitutionally.
yeah, I think bringing back militias would be a good thing. Anyway, Roger, take this topic out, and not on a date. Just discuss it.
Okay. So,
Leave your gun at home.
which gun? So, my whole thing when it comes to a lot of this, it has to do with what we were or what you guys were alluding to, and I've been bringing it up here lately, and for some reason it coincides with a lot of the conspiracy stuff that I've been doing on the Wonderful World of Weirdness. I just covered Jade Helm 15. And a lot of people have forgotten about that. And it seems as though it was intentionally freaking dumbed down so that nobody would remember it. Like, if you take a look at the way people act today, okay, and you go over some of the stuff that was involved with Jade Helm, it was a training exercise that was held in the southwest part of the United States. But it had to do a lot more with just more than just training exercises. They were teaching these soldiers how to infiltrate civilian groups, and so that they could gather intel on what they determined the enemy was supposed to be, and then they began to uh, work closely with the local law enforcement agencies. And besides that, what they did is they started going into the media and start spreading propaganda so that they could freaking counteract, is how they say, their enemies' propaganda. So you have a combination of military force combined with freaking media manipulation and infiltrating your local freaking law enforcement and communities to freaking search out the enemy and try to pinpoint where they are and all that stuff. Um, and with this whole thing about the media and how dumbed down it's gotten, now we have to sit and we have to watch news about freaking homosexuals being able to freaking use same-sex bathrooms, or we have to hear about freaking kindergartners learning sex education, or we have to learn about all these horrible freaking pedophiles that freaking are destroying our nation, coming from freaking South America and all that. Instead of worrying about real stuff that's taking place, that's actually an issue that needs to be discussed. And the reason why they're doing that is they're dumbing us down. They're wanting to make us stupid, so that is important to us. What's actually stupid and ignorant and shouldn't even be on the news or in politics is freaking actually what they're talking about, and what is really important isn't even mentioned. That's what is really disturbing to me. People need to kind of get a grasp on what's really going on in the world and not focus on stupid bullshit like this. Um, my buddy Sonia just got off of a interview where she said some of the most honest and wholesome things when it comes to borders, and she didn't mean she's not one of these people who are, Miss Utopian freaking world society people. She just doesn't feel that it's necessary. You know what I mean? And that's the way some people are. But if you turn around and you have her say that around people who are really, really extremist on that thing, they will straight call her every freaking bad word on the face of this planet just because they don't agree with her. You know what I mean? So you've got that issue going on, and I don't think people realize that you're being guided to think that way. That's the way they want you. They want you to be against one another, fighting, arguing, and ignorant. And that's all I got.
Yep, that's all you got. All right, let's move on to topic number.
Actually, can I mention the stuff about the dogs in the backyard again? Because V didn't get to hear that.
What's going on?
Gay dogs in the backyard.
Or just humping like your leg or something like that,
No, gay dogs in the backyard are worse than humping your legs, dude. Because then with the gay dogs, you gotta like take water and pour it between them because one of the dog's penises got stuck at the other one's butt.
Does that actually happen? I've never seen.
Oh yeah, it happens, dude. It happens. It's disgusting. Just disgusting.
How is it related to the riots, though?
Yeah,
it's animal instinct.
It's related to the riots because Red Pill Nation. That's why.
Only here.
All right, so let's move on to the third topic here. Let me just take a look at the time. All right, Okay. Here's the ironic part about all this is that they did this day of they did this No Kings protest and whatever, and what ended up happening is that instead of it being a big, great day for the left, what it ended up being is that an unhinged leftist, and I got to emphasize this guy was a leftist. His track record of him working for a pro-immigrant NGO, the fact that he got hired on by Tim Walz's team, and that sort of thing. He was, and why he chose to shoot Democrats is a complete mystery to me. But that's what he chose to do. But he went around to various Democrats. He shot and seriously injured this one Democrat. I think it was a sitting state, but they went to this one Democrat congresswoman in her house, pretended to be a police officer, and killed them both. He is still at large. At this point, he has either gone out into the wilderness or has potentially maybe even committed suicide. But the left, in all of its infinite wisdom, took a couple of points, and what they tried to do is they tried to play this guy off, and I'm not lying about this, as a Democrat, as a Republican, because he may or may not have supported Trump at one point. Even when, and again, this is what I was talking about when I'm talking about dealing with individuals that want to be stupid, right? The whole thing about what was going on here is that, I mean, even when on a couple of cases, and this actually happened with me, I posted up some articles that clearly showed that this guy was not a Republican, was not pro-Trump, and these two, and of course, right, once these two idiots tried to double down, so I called their bluff again. And of course, when they double down and you call their bluff, what they resort to is like insults and anything. But they will do anything other than address the point, and that's exactly what happened, right? And I know how to deal with them once they get to that point. That was the actual highlight of the No Kings Day, right? And not the fact that there was this big, huge anti-Trump rally that took place nationwide that tried to make it look bigger than it actually was. I don't know whether these two events are coincidental, but given the Astroturf situation with both the LA riots and the number of people that are funding No Kings, it wouldn't, because this guy had a security background. I got to point that out. This guy had a security background. This dude went. It is entirely possible that they picked a guy who was maybe mentally unstable or maybe was in dire financial trouble, and they just paid this guy a bunch of money to go out and shoot these Democrats and to make it look like he was a Republican. And I can't just dismiss out of hand the possibility that they chose to do that on purpose with this. Now, it's also very possible this guy may have been mentally unhinged in the first place. But again, right, they found a whole box full of No King pamphlets in the back of his car. He worked under Tim. Well, I mean, he was appointed by people on Tim Walz's staff at some point. He worked for a pro-immigration NGO, right? That, and I think you will find this rather interesting because this got pointed out by the Quartering, mysteriously ran out of money when U.S. aid got shut down. Yeah, that's just a total coincidence right there. There's nothing to see there at all, right? The fact that they tried really, really hard to make this look like it was done by the Republicans or by people on the right. Hold on, somebody else. Sonia Galactic. Okay, Sonia, you want to join the stream? All right, we'll let you in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that means now we got 5. Okay, so we're going to have to keep the conversation short now, folks, because we got a lot of people still on the show now.
Well, if Sonya comes in, man, it's not going to be short, dude. She's a wild woman. She's going to stir shit up in here. She's crazier than me, dude.
Oh no, I'm begging your pardon. I'm the craziest person here.
Well, yeah,
I might sound like I'm saying, but anyway, yeah, I can't dismiss the fact that they haven't caught this guy yet. That maybe this may have been a planned event that just botched because this guy couldn't cover his tracks well enough. He could also just be a mentally unhinged idiot. But yeah, like the mainstream media and a lot of leftist organizations are really enthusiastically trying to pin this on the Republicans, like a little bit too enthusiastically, right? And of course, it falls apart when you start when you start doing the fact checking. But here's the thing: when they do this, you do have to do the fact checking. Otherwise, they will continue to double down. And okay, so here's the way it's going to go. We will do Mr. Robot v. Sonia, and then Roger. Yeah, you're still last.
All right.
So, Mr. Robot, go ahead.
So I'll just quickly say this whole story just reeks of a setup for me. Just the evidence is too convenient with the flyers in the car. I don't know if you saw the mainstream media when it interviewed his supposed roommate that got an SMS.
I saw that. Yeah.
And he's like crying on the TV going, oh, he's not going to make it. And he admitted that he did it and all this stuff. And the media is so sure he is the guy. Yet you look on the footage they have of the shooter, and he's wearing a rubber mask. There's no way to tell who he is. He's totally covered. So you can't actually tell who the shooter is, yet the mainstream media have already convicted him, right? And in the car, they find the No Kings flyers, yet he claims to be a Republican. Just too convenient. Anyway, you look at the victims, Melissa Horton. She's one of the lady that the Congress lady that got shot, or lawmaker they call her, and she voted against healthcare for illegal immigrants. And after that she got interviewed on TV, and she was like literally almost in tears because she knew she like rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way. So that could maybe be a motive. And this just came in like an hour ago. The shooter is now, or the alleged shooter has now been arrested. I was almost sure they were going to find him dead in the bush somewhere. But yeah, the guy has been found in Minnesota. Vance Bolter is his name, near his Green Isle home. And yeah, so I guess we'll find out soon what his side of the story is. That's all I'll say for now. Thanks.
V.
Yeah, you know me and shooters. I did my documentary on targeting visuals turned shooters. I would need a lot more detail. I would need to know a lot more about this before I can even begin to break it down. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it on.
All right, Sonia, you're up.
Yeah, I would say that you remember 2000. I think it was 2001, right? And then the passport kind of thing, kind of like what Mr. Robot was talking about. It's kind of convenient, a little too convenient. It's it's all a show, right?
It does feel a little bit like the 9/11 hijacker passports in the rubble situation, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, that's my take.
Oh, that was quick. All right,
Yeah.
Roger.
Well, the thing that gets me about this whole situation, and it kind of goes into what Mr. Robot was doing right there, is you got to stop with the nonsense and listening to what you hear on the news and the alternative media, and you gotta follow the information. First of all, these people that got shot, okay, what would be the motive behind them being shot? Who did they piss off, and what was involved with their careers? You know what I mean? Because um, it does sound suspicious. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I bet you anything that this has to do something with the fact that they were getting in the way. They were causing problems and it was a process of elimination. You know, it was a process of them being eliminated from the situation. Something that they were doing that was causing issues made it to where they had to be killed. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense that somebody just randomly went up to a Democrat's freaking house and decided to kill him. That makes no
Apparently,
sense.
they found a list of 70 people that he wanted to kill,
Yeah, well,
but they refused to release the list. But yeah.
I mean,
Okay, so now we got another person jumping in. DK Conspiracy. Yeah, you'll have to wait until after Roger's done. Continue.
I'm done.
Okay, DK Conspiracy, introduce yourself, and then you're up. We're talking about the Minnesota shooter at this point. Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, DK Conspiracy. Yeah, you're not coming through at all. So, yeah, DK. Where are you? All right, so he's not available, so we're going to move on to the next. Sorry, Roger, are you done? Roger, are you done?
I will
Oh
say
no,
the mask. Did you guys see the mask he was wearing? It's like something out of a horror movie. It's ridiculous, like crazy.
No,
yeah,
I missed that. So,
I did see the.
There we go.
There he
Sorry.
is.
oh, there he is.
Hey,
DK.
my first time on the Rumble chat, it still had me stuck a screen back. I didn't realize there was some extra button I had to scroll down to push to say, yeah, okay. It's like, why isn't it working?
There you go.
Okay, so DK, Minnesota shooter, and then we have to move on to the next topic here.
Yeah, so that's the what was it, the Democrat who was shot for not supporting giving benefits or social welfare or something to illegals. Is that correct?
Yep. Oh, well, there was a couple of other. Oh, by the way, Mr. Robot just confirmed the guy has been caught, and yeah, no, and also the leftists were really, really, really desperately trying to tie this shooting back to the Republicans, like overly enthusiastically trying to tie it back to the Republicans. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fully. Everything that they can possibly tie back to someone else and blame someone else for doing, they do. So this is standard practice for certain groups. Accuse others of that which you are doing yourself.
Well, for the first time ever, we've got like this X platform that's fairly uncensored, and when you have a billion people looking into the same issue, it just like they can't hide anything from us anymore.
Thing about that's the thing about the mainstream media. That's the thing about the alt media. Like 20 years ago, the Astroturf that they would have tried would have succeeded, but now because and especially because the mainstream media has just like lost so much of their credibility, right? They, like when they say something, everybody's like, just like how the Eastern Europeans regard the mainstream media over there, sort of like, yeah, whatever, right? And there's so much alt media. Like, I forgot to mention this about the riots. That individual who was seen distributing those masks in that truck was tied into a leftist faction of the Teamsters in LA.
Hey, I did get here late. Did someone mention that the guy who, like the suspect in the shooting, that they found those flyers in his car?
Yeah, we already covered that. Yeah.
I was just checking. That's all. Cool.
All right, so yeah, we'll move on to does anybody else have anything more to say on this one? Because we have to obviously have to keep this moving.
Didn't they have his identity like on the first day, like straight away?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. And here's the thing, and Mr. Robot mentioned something about the mask. I haven't actually seen that video. I mean, if Mr. Robot can maybe post it up in the feed somewhere, maybe it's like that. Not this in the chat. I can go take a look at it. But yeah,
I can do that.
There's a lot of stuff about this shooting in Minnesota that is really like off.
Yeah. The dude, well, I don't know. Maybe he really is like some sort of trained assassin. Maybe he was being blackmailed. Who knows? Maybe he was MK Ultra'd. He did run a security firm.
The fact that he was like totally masked up, professional gear, everything. Yeah, they say it's got a security background, but it feels more like a professional hit to me. Like,
I know. He actually runs some security firm.
Yeah, he passed himself off as a police officer to shoot one of the victims. So that should tell you what you need to know right there.
2 of the victims survived as well, so that'll be interesting if they ever give an interview.
Maybe he is out of like Black Ops at some point or some shit in his past. Maybe he's still in it. Who knows?
It might be that he didn't even do it, right? It could have just been pinned on him. So we'll have to find out once he once
Yeah,
he
well,
sees
apparently he got close enough that they could see the badge number that he was wearing and shit. So they could obviously see his face. You know, they could.
Well, I
They
couldn't
could
see his face because he was wearing a mask, and he was wearing gloves as well, so no fingerprints.
Oh yeah, well maybe it is. Maybe it is just a patsy then. Maybe they're setting someone up.
Oh,
Just like
I wouldn't dismiss that at all. You know,
Nah,
knowing how these
neither.
people operate, because like I mean, like I said, this whole first hour and 20 minutes of the show, we've been discussing how the LA riots and the No Kings and how these shootings all seem to be weirdly tied together. It was almost as if they were trying, and if you take a look at the actual photo that I have right now, right, it's almost as if they were deliberately trying to like destabilize the government.
Yeah.
Thanks for the screen, by the way. I'm gonna have to post that up here if I can bring it up somehow. If I can.
Up on your top part where it says presentation,
Yep.
you can share that.
All right, there we go. I'll keep that up for a few minutes. I'll keep it up for about 2 or 3 minutes here. Yeah, very, very, very curious, like the whole
very
thing.
movie-like, isn't it? It's
Very
I
creepy.
mean, yeah, like what the? How are you supposed to identify anyone?
oh, the mainstream media was sure, 100% sure who it was.
I know. Saddam Hussein.
Now, see, the weird part is like when it came out on the news, they said that the guy somewhat looked like a police officer. Does that
He's
look
got
like
a
a
rubber
police?
mask on. He's just
Well,
wearing a police uniform. Like what the shit? He looked like a police officer. Yeah, it's called a police uniform.
Nobody
So
thought Jason Voorhees at any point looking out the window, or you know what I mean? The guy looks pretty creepy. I would never open a door for anybody like that.
That's one of those. That's one of those rip the mask off situations, eh?
Yeah,
So
well,
that-
yeah,
Simpsons.
you know, it's just like
It's
the
a
LA.
reptile.
It's just like the LA riots, right? They pillaged the Nike store to make sure those nasty ICE agents and Marines couldn't get their footwear, right? So they went
No,
to
so they
pillage
could
the store.
run faster. Didn't you know that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Apparently, his wife got caught like one state over with a bunch of cash and guns and stuff as well. So I don't know what the
Oh,
deal
wow.
is with that. Yeah.
Is she getting set up too, or is it real?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
There's one channel in New Zealand that does this one thing. It says whatever news comes out, you wait 48 hours, and then you've got a chance of finding out what the real story is. Because usually the first thing that comes out is full of shit.
that's the propaganda. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
you're supposed to wait 48 hours to see if you can find any other information about that topic.
Okay, so it'll be stuff out by say Monday night then. Okay, well,
Yeah, you get what I mean. Yeah. It's like, I mean, we can talk about it, but more information might come out that, you know, dispels half the things we're saying. And, anyway.
That's
I thought he was
one
going
of
to
the
be found dead.
issues.
hey guys, one person at a time, please. So yeah, Roger, and then whoever stepped in right at the same time as Roger. So Roger, and then whoever it was next.
That's one thing that I have an issue with the media today. Okay, it's reactionary news, and that's what DK is talking about. Where you take time, you get the story, and then another thing that disturbs me about it is they don't do follow-ups anymore. Like after you do a story, you need to follow up and find out what's going on after the fact too. You know.
You want me to do more of that? Because I keep forgetting to do that. I don't like covering the same topic. So yeah, you're thinking I should actually do follow-ups.
Just do follow-up. You know what I'm saying?
Now, see,
Yeah, fair enough.
Roger,
No
you've
one's ever said that to me before.
Yeah,
I don't know if any of you have heard it yourselves, but yeah, do follow-up.
You've actually stepped into the trap there, Roger, of assuming that the media is there to inform you, which is not true. It's
You mean
part
they're
of
not? Oh my god! Oh my
It's,
god!
it's
I
still
have to
not
re-examine everything I believed.
Yeah, who'd have
Well,
thought?
this is why they don't do follow-ups. This is why they don't do real investigations. They just push the propaganda of the intelligence agencies to propagandize the population. Right?
Yeah, no,
So,
but he's
Exactly.
not meaning that. He's meaning us. Like
No,
us.
no,
Us as streamers,
media.
why don't we do follow-ups
No,
on
media.
Hardcore?
Media. All
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
not the media. Who cares what they say?
You
We
know.
find out more. We should be doing follow-ups on the things we've talked about. He
I
is right.
well, yeah,
I've
that's not a
never done
bad
it
idea.
because I don't like repeating topics. But I think it's a good idea when you find more information to like recover the topic and like
Yeah,
go through the new stuff that's found. That's actually a really good idea. Thank you.
Hey,
yeah.
it's
Okay.
you do good. You do good. But follow-ups is something that is very important. They used to do it all the time back in the '70s and the '80s. Man, it was important.
Mm.
And now nobody seems to even care about it. And I like to go and review some of the stuff that I actually did before because I've noticed that the way I think about stuff has changed over a period of time. You know what I mean? I'm a little
Mm.
bit more focused today than what I was back 10 years ago. So I like to go back over that and see where my thoughts have changed over a time period because we don't think the same at all through our lifetimes. Our opinions change and the way we look at things change. So,
And you gain context as you go along, you know.
yeah, I mean, it's important.
Great point, Roger.
I probably went into some stupid shit that Naruki's going to hate me for. He's like, why do you keep doing this to me, Roger?
Oh no, the gay you had me at the gay dogs, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
I
that that
love that.
bloody new age stuff?
Well, I think a lot of things are new age. Like I think Christianity is like the hit new age religion, and people look at me funny when I say that, and I'm like,
You mean
dude,
Christianity or Judeo Christianity?
anything that if you hear Jesus, it's new age. It's hit new age stuff because I'm like ancient history kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I love
Yeah,
ancient.
you're worshipping the Egyptian gods.
Yeah. So
Roger's a pagan
Anubis,
deep down.
Ra.
well, I'm trying not to be, but I'm really starting to lean that direction. I hate saying it, but it really is going that way. I have more respect for pagans than what I do most modern religions today. To be
Same.
honest, you know.
I hate all. Yeah, I dislike organized religion. I
Okay.
believe it
All
is
right.
just a control system.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we have to get moving here before we
Oh yeah, yeah,
before
sorry.
we.
All right.
All right. So yeah, let's move on to topic number 4 here. Oh, look at that! Now we're talking about Israel. Oh
Oh hell.
wow! Oh wow!
I just did this. I just did my show yesterday on Rumble myself that lasted for 3 hours. I just did the riots and then the Israel and Iran thing.
Okay, yeah. I don't ask me how it is that Netanyahu has managed to stay in power for as long as he has, because it's extremely rare that a politician, especially a guy as corrupt as Netanyahu, is able to stay in power as long as he has. Again, right? But if you look at what's happening in the West, like maybe the elections there are really fixed. Just like again, right? And as annoying as I find the pro-Palestinian protesters in North America, I can't dismiss the fact that like there was a series of intelligence failures on the Israeli side that allowed the Hamas attackers to
Oh
get
come
into is.
on!
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to say it
Come
actually
on!
happened, but
That
there's
wasn't failures.
oh, okay,
Are you
yeah.
serious?
No, I'm just
Oh
I
my!
mean I can't prove it, so I have to go with failures. You're right, it probably wasn't failures. They're probably left
How
open on
was
purpose.
the CNN film crew walking across the no man's land thing with a group of the terrorists?
Yeah, I saw that.
I've got a bit of intel on that, and I saw a video when it like live while it was going on. I saw a lady that worked on the border there. She was an intelligence officer. She came out and said her superiors told her to step down during that time, and
yeah, no,
that
there's
video
heaps of them that did.
disappeared off the internet. You can't find it anywhere anymore.
I know there's
Yeah.
heaps of them that did. They stood down for like 7 to 9 hours.
Yeah. Anyway,
Like,
there
there was whole areas that were cleared, and then the media's going on about paragliders and motorbikes. Dude, they fucking walked across, and then Israel came in with their helicopter gunships, just
shot
gunned
their own
down
people as
everyone
well.
at the festival. Like, they've admitted this. This is not conspiracy theory. They've
They
admitted
admitted
that
using
they were the
cannibal
ones
direct.
that gunned down all the cars and everyone who was running around in the parking lot because they
Okay.
thought it was the terrorists.
Okay, yeah. So we have 6 people here, so we're gonna have to set up an order here. Robot, Robot V, Sonia, and then what I can't remember your name there, bud. The one who was just talking. You go, and then Roger.
Just call me DK, man.
Okay, DK goes 5th, and then Roger Hansen takes not takes it up the rear. Roger Hansen finishes the topic out.
Yeah. I have a feeling I'm taking Rearson's place.
Grierson.
Yeah, it's just getting horrible for me, man.
The aliens got him for good, for sure. He's maybe enjoying it a little bit too much. I'm gonna have to let him know that we're mocking him at the moment here. Okay, and then does Iran have a nuclear program? Well, yeah.
For civilians, they've always had one, right? Because they use nuclear material for like MRI scans and all sorts of legitimate like civilian uses. But during the Obama time onwards, there was a deal with the Americans so that they could send people in to investigate their operations and see how much they've enriched the nuclear material so it's not weapons grade. And that was all good for like this entire time. And mind you, Netanyahu has been yelling at the top of his lungs for 40 years on record that, tomorrow they're going to make a bomb. They're only a week away from making a bomb. He's been saying that for 40 years.
Okay,
and they never made a bomb.
All right, there was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he came. He was the inventor. He was the guy who came up with the concept of game theory. And he did a full investigation using his particular skill set. And he concluded that Iran just simply doesn't have, like, there are some fanatics in Iran that might be willing to use the bomb, but there's just simply not enough will to go out and use it, even if they did have it. So my only conclusion is, and then of course, like, we will go to Mr. Robot, and then we'll do V, and then we'll do DK, and then we'll do Sonia, and then we'll do Roger, is that Netanyahu's doing this in an attempt to distract from what is probably some growing internal pressure inside his own government. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Robot. And please, everybody just has their say. We can have a conversation at the end, but everybody just needs to get what they need to say out first. So, Mr. Robot, take it away.
I actually agree with you there. Like, Netanyahu has just been brought into a trial, and as he was on the stand, he goes, "Oh no, I feel a bit ill. I can't testify today. I sent you the links in the chat." So he's like on the verge of being tried as a war criminal. He's already being deemed a war criminal internationally by international law, and there is definitely growing internal pressure to like remove him from power and stuff like that. A lot of Israelis don't agree with what he's doing. But on top of that, I will say, like, I think the Iranians are actually really smart people on average. It sucks that they're like under a Muslim dictatorship right now, but they're Persians, right? Not necessarily Arabs. And they come from like an ancient lineage of people, very smart people. And they're not interested in making a bomb or using a bomb, I don't believe, and they know what the consequences of that would be. However, in saying that, I don't think any other nation should be able to dictate whether a sovereign nation has a nuclear program or not. I mean, Pakistan has nukes. Israel stole nukes from the US and through South Africa and stuff like that back in the day. No one said shit. India's got nukes. Everyone's got nukes nowadays. No one has been using them, right? So I think it's totally wrong of Trump to come in and give them this crazy ultimatum to say, no, you got to dismantle your entire nuclear program, even for civilian use. You need to get rid of your ballistic missiles and totally disarm yourself, even though you've got this crazy Israeli element right next door that's like bombing the crap out of people. So yeah, I think that was a no-starter deal from the start. It was designed to fail, it seems like. And then on top of that, Trump, said, "Oh, we've got more talks coming up." And then as more talks are coming up, they start bombing them with American bombs. And then Trump goes and claims responsibility for it, and that was just the craziest geostrategic blunder in American history, I believe, because we're now in a situation where Pakistan has said that if Israel uses nukes on Iran, they're going to nuke Israel. So like this whole area is on a tinderbox of like starting World War III right now, and it's just absolute insanity in my mind. That's what I'll say for now.
Okay, so yeah, you're up.
Yeah, well, you know, I think I think this is all the brilliance and the intelligent work. It's circling back. Nobody has seen it. Nobody understands it. But this is all yay. Come on now. Yay, formerly known as Kanye West.
Oh, it's the aliens. Continue.
Yay told us about all this stuff. Yay warned us. Okay? And then he got hit with that old, Israel Defense League slap to the face. And all of a sudden he likes Jews and he shut the hell up. But here we are, right? Yeah, no, nobody over there in the Middle East. I mean, Iran should nuclear technology. Okay, if any nation wants to have nuclear technology, they should. Whether it becomes weapons grade or not, we've already been in a nuclear lock. Okay, United States and Russia, mutual assured destruction. Anybody else having the nukes, I don't think it really matters. It's going to be one of those things like it's going to be a non-issue blown out to be 100% of an issue, and it's going to be a reason to depose and a lot of leaders and install dictators, and it's going to be a huge mess. It's going to be I don't know. And Netanyahu, I think these people, because they came up with the nanotech first, and I kind of think they smart dust mind control some of the people in our government. That's why they own us right now. But that's a topic for another another time. But yeah, no, it's insane. Being able to tell someone who can have nuclear bombs and who can't. I don't trust these Israelis having nukes. I don't trust Iran having nukes. However, they hate each other, so I'd rather them both have it. Or neither one.
I think. I'm sorry, I've got to interrupt because that was just getting into rambling and you were repeating yourself. What you're going on about is mutually assured destruction. which is Israel's Samson option anyway. They have said that if anyone attacks Israel, it's like they are prepared to use nuclear weapons. This is why they don't want anyone else to have nuclear weapons, because they don't want people to say, well, we'll just take you out first. And here's where it goes back to the IAEA, which is the International Atomic Energy, I think the last word is agency. Please clarify if I'm wrong about that. I think that's what it is.
Oh, the IAEA! Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But,
The IAEA!
thanks for that. That's how you pronounce it in Indonesian.
The IAEA! Okay, but
I know I'm not trying to be racist, but that's enough. But yeah, so Iran complies with them. Iran has always complied with them. In fact, Iran goes beyond what is stipulated in the agreements and shit that are in this international pact. Israel hasn't even signed it and won't let anyone go and see what they've got. But Iran's the bad guy because Israel said so. And then Israel attacks. Yeah, then Israel attacks Iran. And if you have noticed the words that they've been using in all of the media everywhere, so if there are any this was before Iran struck back. If there are any retaliatory strikes or revenge attacks, if there's any violent response, then we're going to go and attack Iran. These words mean they've already done something first, and if anyone does something back, they're going to be really upset. So you need to start looking at the words that are actually used by everyone. This is exactly how they try and twist the minds of people. They're basically trying to put it in people's heads that if Iran attacks us, we're going to do something. But they're missing these words that say, we've already done something. If they do something back, we're going to do something. That's exactly what it is. And it's all part of the greater Israel project and expanding their whole territory through the Middle East. I can't remember exactly which countries, but Iran is one of their biggest obstacles. I know that much.
Yeah. Okay, Aviv, do you have anything else to add? And then we're going to swing it over to Sonia.
Well, I was just repeating myself just so that this guy can repeat himself. No, I'm done. I'm good.
Okay, Sonia, you're up.
Okay, so I just have one thing to propose or just to ask and to think about maybe. What if there actually are no nukes, okay, and it's just kind of a distraction kind of thing, a huge one? And that's my 2 cents.
I actually have heard that. They were saying it's ammonia phosphate, which creates one of the bigger explosions of anything they've found so far. And it's basically everyone bluffing. But because everyone's bluffing, everyone plays along with it.
Right.
Like, well, the governments, I mean, the military powers.
Yeah.
People aren't supposed to know that it's all a bluff. But does it really matter? If they've got bombs that big, what does it matter if the word's nuke or just massive bomb? The only thing that's different is the nuclear radioactive fallout. And then again, these days, they probably just drop some bioweapon with it anyway.
Yeah, so exactly.
So it would still have the same effect. So it kind of doesn't matter if nukes are real anymore or not. If you've got a big bomb and a bioweapon, boom, same result.
Yeah, it keeps folks in fear as well,
Yes,
all over,
that's it.
So.
Well, isn't it interesting that most of the attacks wasn't on their nuclear facilities? It was on the negotiators of the peace deal. Like they just decapitated the entire leadership
hang on.
of the country.
You're only hearing that from Israel.
No, I heard it from Western media.
Yeah, you're only hearing it from Israel. you're not hearing anything from Iran.
Are
Well,
you
yeah,
are you
you have
saying
to
that
do
they
some
didn't?
digging.
No, I'm not saying 100% for sure. I just know how they play the game. I know how this propaganda works, especially in these situations.
Well,
They,
I saw
they,
the buildings that
they,
they took out,
they are
and they took
playing
out
it
a lot of
like
One
cardboard.
person at a time, please.
they are playing it like they had these strategic strikes that took out every single person that they wanted to take out, and that's it. They got who they wanted. Everything Iran has done is pointless. All they did was hit one apartment building, and there's only like 11 people dead or something. And I'm like, hell no, have you not seen any of the footage? They took out their air defense centers. This explosion is so big that there would have been like, I don't know, tens of people, dozens of people killed in this one explosion. It was super huge.
Okay.
This isn't one of the little ones that they see and go, oh, see, this is all they did. No, there are huge explosions.
Okay.
Watch that through.
Okay, Mr. Robot, say what you're going to say, and then I got to let Roger finish this topic off.
My point is just like, because we were talking about the Greater Israel Project and it being a sort of a distraction / farce, is like, I'm not saying Iran doesn't have any effect. They got a huge amount of ballistic missiles, and they basically exhausted the defense missiles of the Israelis. So a lot of them are getting through now, for sure. But what I'm saying is the people that were meant to be doing the negotiating, they went for first, and to me, that is more something you would do if you wanted regime change and, to basically push your agenda on the population rather than actually just trying to disarm them. If you wanted to stop nuclear war, just start doing more business with those countries and treating them like equals. Then they will have a vested interest in not escalating conflicts. And
That's
that's not
that's
what's
only
happening.
if that's actually true. That's what I just said.
All
I
right.
said that's
Well,
only if it's actually true, or if it's just Israel saying, we got everyone, all our strikes were perfect.
yeah. Okay, Roger. Sorry. Yeah. Take this topic out. Sorry, guys. I'd like to keep this going, but we have to keep this moving. Roger. Roger. No, you may not join Rearson with the space aliens.
Is he off getting coffee again?
He's been plugged up.
Roger.
Calling you
Okay.
rear.
See, another successful strategic strike right there.
They took out Roger. The aliens got Roger.
Are we blaming the Israelis for a direct attack?
Yep, that's right. It was the Israelis. It was the Israeli space aliens and gimps and Superman gimps that came over and kidnapped Roger. Before he had the chance to get on his tinfoil hats from Tinfoil Hats R Us. That's
Roger,
right.
get on, mate.
That's right. Tinfoil Hats R Us. That's our commercial sponsor for tonight. We got hats. If you're worried about those pesky alien abductions, Tinfoil Hats R Us. We got all colors, all styles, even for the family pets. Just remember to call in to Tinfoil Hats R Us and scream really loud into the phone, "They're going to get me!" to get 10% off your first order.
Roger,
Roger,
it was an inside job.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Yellow Man bomb better.
Oh, you mean Orange Man hand bulb? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Orange Man hand bomb.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah,
want to.
I just line the inside of my caps with tinfoil. I find that works.
Yeah. Anyway, Roger, take this topic out, and then we got to get on to the next one.
Okay, so before I say anything, I want to point something out because I don't think anybody has yet. But this is a great stream because we have everybody from different parts of the world except for England. If Mark Edworthy was here, we would be representing everybody in the world. Just so you guys know, we have people from New Zealand. We have somebody from a destination unknown, which Mr. Robot. I don't know if he likes being,
It's Mars.
but we also have
It is
somebody.
Elon's first probe.
We have somebody from Canada, and we have two people from the United States, and I think that's awesome. Now, with that being said, after that, I want to point out something about the nuclear program in Israel. Vanunu. Okay, Vanunu said this stuff years and years ago, and he was in prison because of it. Not only was he in prison, but from it, but Mossad, I believe, tricked him into going outside of England, and then was debated on either killing him or taking him back to Israel, where he stood trial, and he almost had to live his remainder of life in prison because he told everybody about freaking their nuclear program that they had back in the 80s. So
Was that the one that he stole from? Oh, that they stole from America.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, I have to point out one thing, and I'm going to turn it back over to Roger. Sununu was an easy guy to dislike. I got to point that out. Continue, Roger.
But even though he did bring it to light about what was actually taking place, and I think that's an important thing to mention, the fact that Vanunu was the one who brought that out, and he brought it out years ago, and now nobody wanted to listen back then, but now all of a sudden, Israel's doing strikes on Iran, which that's going to have repercussions. There's no way around it. There's going to hopefully we can get through this without it being World War III, to be honest. Because everybody here in the United States has this idea that Iran doesn't have connections, but they have a lot of connections.
Yep. Russia, Pakistan, plenty of others already.
Yep. And it might.
China.
It's going to be bad if this escalates. So that's all I've got to say.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
I'll just say one more thing.
Go ahead.
That's criminal to me is like apparently Netanyahu came out with this new evidence that Iran was producing nuclear weapons, and he showed it to Trump, but like secretly. And the public's not allowed to know what it is. And it kind of reminds me of like the Colin Powell days where he's like, this is the yellow cake uranium that Saddam had, but it's all done in secret now. And it's just like the public is meant to trust these politician bureaucrats that it's not about something else. You know what I mean? I feel like there needs to be more public outcry. What happened to the anti-war movement? Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, they got subverted.
Where's the music? Like, where are all the songs? Now everything's like rap songs. Oh, there's a few country ones, but where's all the real songs about, like, this anti-war stuff?
People need to realize this is more serious than ever before.
Liberals, not these neo-liberals, who should be actually out there trying to create stuff that's against this sort of thing.
Oh, well, Bono's a corporatist stooge, and cultural, I mean, like, the music industry is even worse than the film and television industry in terms of fucking wokeness. I mean, you got the rare exceptions like Tom McDonald and a couple of others, but for the most part, right, like the music industry is just like, they're totally bought and paid for, right?
Sorry. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like it's just all like it's rap or country. Where's like the rock and the rock and the metal songs that are against this?
Well, I mean, look at what
like Rage Against the Machine and stuff back before they sold out.
Oh, you mean Sips Rage for the Machine?
Yeah, wow. Back before they sold out. Come on.
Yeah.
I even
sellouts for the Machine. Yeah, those guys. Yeah, sellouts for the Machine.
I know. I said back before they sold out.
Come
on. Yep. All right.
I just revert back to the old music.
Let me point something out about Rage Against the Machine, too. The guy they freaking made a huge song about and a huge stink about being in prison. He was an Indian. Got released, and you know what Rage Against the Machine did? Nothing. Didn't even make an announcement. Didn't even say, "Hey, this is great." Didn't say nothing. It was all just for freaking promotions.
Oh yeah, I don't. I said they completely sold out. Their
Yeah.
first album, there's a few songs I like. We'll leave it at that. Like, there's nothing else about them I like. Their first album's got a few good songs.
Okay, so are we done here? Because we have to move on to the next one, and let's try not to get too celebratory about this one because we've seen a lot. So hold on a second, let me just do the time on this one. Bluesky is officially. I mean, there was some talk about this before, but yeah, Mark Cuban pretty much made it official, and it's like the numbers on Bluesky are clearly showing it. Like there was rumors that Bluesky was going down, but Bluesky denied it. That Bluesky, and I suspect there may have been the fact that, of course, they attracted all the pedos that got removed off Twitter. But yeah, I remember right after Trump got elected, I think something I said went viral because I actually posted this up like probably about 20 or 30 times. There's a bunch of people on Twitter saying, "Oh, I'm going over to Bluesky. There's 1.5 million of us that went over today." And my response was, "Well, what are the other 283,500,000 of us ever going to do without you here?" Right? It's like the left, this particular group, they like to make it look like they had a lot of groundswell of support, but if you actually step back and took a look at it, it was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. They like the media, and I remember looking at the mainstream media stories. The media hyped Bluesky through the roof, right? And it got it to about 35 million, and now it's just dropping off. Well, I mean, for instance, Jeremy Hambling from the Quartering tried to go on the Bluesky. He set up an account. He literally didn't even get the chance to post up anything, and they'd already booted him off. And he wasn't the only one that ran into that problem.
Yeah, because Bluesky is the pedo Democrat version of X.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm kind of glad they did. I mean, where are all those go? Where are all those woke celebrities going to go? What that? Well, that was the issue, right? They all went over there. The only problem is that they only went over there. That's an echo chamber, and it's like the people that they need, whose minds they needed to change and influence, stayed on Twitter, right? So it's like they're over there screaming their lungs out and demanding purity seals and all that sort of stuff to stay on Bluesky, and they lost their influence. They found that they didn't have the influence that they thought they have. So they're now all slowly starting to come back to Twitter. The only problem is, X. The only problem is that X, if they try to grandstand too much on X, they get called on it. So yeah, DK, since you seem to want to talk a lot, I will let you go second, and then we will carry on with Mr. Robot, and then V, Sonia, and then Roger. So DK, you're next.
Thanks, man.
It's your turn.
It's your turn.
It's your turn.
No, I thought you said I was second. Oh, you mean now?
Yeah, you're up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, it's the fact is they always seem to make these minorities look like they're so much larger than they are. Like, if you actually really do look at some of the demographic statistics, you'd realize that there is like 7% of the population getting about 70% of the media.
DK?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, he faded out a little bit. He faded out.
What the hell is he talking about?
He's fading out.
No, he was saying with Bluesky that it was like, promoting fake, saying it was bigger than it was. Like, the media was hyping it up. When, even with his comment, he was saying, oh, you're only a couple of million or whatever out of 280 million. Or what will the other 280 million of us do?
Oh yeah, that got quoted. That got quoted quite frequently.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I've seen some really big names.
I'm not knocking that. What I'm saying is they do that with everything.
Oh yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's not just Blue Sky. It's every single thing they push. As a minority, a tiny minority, and that's the thing the media pushes on all the rest of the mass population.
And that's the reason why the alt media is been growing incrementally. Are you
Yeah.
done, DK? Because we need to keep this moving.
One last thing. It's like, yes, it is growing incrementally, but you need to be careful of the controlled opposition. So be very aware of how much you listen to from most people.
You
Here's
mean
a
like the
simple
Daily
way.
Wire?
Here's a simple way to check, dude. Are they rich, sponsored, and somehow promoted, even though they keep claiming they're not, and everyone's trying to shut them down? See, those things are what you need to look for. There's always bits of truth in what they say, but yeah, take it with a grain of salt, hey? But yeah, that'll do me, man. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Robot, you're up.
All right, I don't have a whole lot to say about Blue Sky other than it's a clever ploy to keep the already brainwashed leftists brainwashed by putting them in an echo chamber without alternative views. Like you said, they just censor any alternative views coming on there. So I think it was a smart move in terms of the social engineering projects on their side, and they try to pass it off like it has similar credibility to X, even though the users complain that they can't find any breaking news on there, blah blah blah. So yeah, I would just advise people to stay away from it unless you're gathering intel on your enemies. But
all right, V, you're up.
Well, I don't have much to say about Blue Sky, but I will take this moment as an opportunity to update you guys with TLB Talk. Our network, thank God, is still going to be around. Roger, my business partner, the primary guy for TLB Talk, founder and other things. He is doing better now. He's out of his coma. If you guys hadn't heard, he had some health issues, and he's back in recovery. And I got the okay to basically do some other things to make our network grow. So TLB Talk is going to be around, and hopefully it'll be bigger. Maybe we'll get some of those people who got rejected by Blue Sky. I don't know.
Can you send me a link in the chat?
It's easy. TLBtalk.com.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. All right. Is that it, V, or do you have anything else more to add?
Yeah, you can go to the App Store, whether it's Apple or an Android. Our app is in there, TLB Talk, and yeah, make sure everybody gets on. And with that, I'll pass on.
All right, Sonia, you're up.
Okay. I don't know so much about the Blue Sky thing. I think the whole thing's pretty much kind of gay. And then Roger.
Yeah, I'm not gay. And
Well, I was just before Roger continues on. When you look at the FBI pedo symbols, one of them is a butterfly. Coincidence? Things that make you go, And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Roger.
well,
Hold on. No, the butterfly is symbolic. It's the monarch butterfly. It's MK Ultra.
Good point.
Yeah.
okay, I want to clear something up too. The way she said that, just so that the guests understand. When she said gay and then said Roger, she wasn't saying that it's kind of gay and then Roger. Like it was like she's saying Roger's next, because I just want to clear that up.
Okay.
And Another thing, the Roger that V is talking about is another Roger too. He's a guy that's been working with V, and it's not me. So don't mistake it. Um, the Roger who is his partner was having some issues with his health and stuff, so he's finally gotten over it. But that's not me because he just said Roger, not the last name. So.
I was kind of hoping it was you, not the coma part. But
I would have loved to have freaking been that Roger. He's got his shit together from everything I've heard. So, well, other than being in a coma, which I'm glad to hear he's out of it too. By the way, B.
Mr. Landry, Roger Landry,
There you go.
founder of TLB Talk and TLB Music.
And eventually, I'm gonna get on there. You guys gonna let me do a show on there, aren't you?
Actually, if and when I decide to get TLB TV going again, well, it's up to me because I will be the director, the head director for that department. Yeah, I'm looking for. I will be looking for talent.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sorry. One other thing before Roger goes on. I didn't realize this, Sonia. I need an avatar for you.
Oh, she's
Okay.
got good ones.
Yeah. Do you need one right this second or?
Well, I'm gonna try to put it on the slideshow for tonight. But I try to get an avatar from everybody. Post it up in the
Okay.
Teams
I'll see
chat.
what
And
I
I'll
can
download
find
it.
here.
Okay,
All right.
Roger, keep going.
Now, that whole thing with Cuba Gooding or whatever the hell, Cuba, the thing that really stuck to me is like he came out with what he said, but at the same time, this is a guy that turned around. He called he's calling it an echo chamber. You know what I mean? And he's saying that freaking it's either you're with us or you're a Nazi kind of mentality that's going on over there. But he's also the same guy that freaking backed Kamala Harrison when she was trying to run for president and then didn't give her a dime for donations. You know what I'm saying? So I just he's kind of like that Sink guy off of the Young Turks, in my opinion. He has that kind of mentality where he's just freaking. He says he's about this, but he's just full of shit, and he really isn't about anything. You know what I mean? I'd almost bet that he got.
Well, he's got a little tank.
What'd you say?
Have you heard? He's got a little bit of sugar in his tank.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, did you see the episode where he thought bestiality should be legal?
Oh wow. Well, I mean, everybody should have a little bit of freaking pussy.
Don't even think that's okay to joke about.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we were talking about gay dogs earlier in this show, so I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand where DK is coming from because they got kangaroos down there. You know what I mean?
I'm not in Australia, bro.
Oh, that's sorry, wrong country.
I'm in New Zealand. They usually say that we shag sheep.
Oh,
But Australia has the song "Tie Me Kangaroo Down" sport. I don't know about swearing on this channel. It's because you can't make love to them when they jump.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
But I heard you use those little kiwis as like fleshlights.
No, they're too endangered for that. If you use one of those, I'd be all over. They'd be jail forever.
I still do want to do a series called Crazy White People from New Zealand or some name like that because I've been.
Hey, dude.
I think.
Do you want the name for it? That's what I use myself when I usually refer to my country.
What?
You could just call it something like Crazy from New Crazy Land.
Yeah.
No, all you gotta do is just drop yourself off in crazy.
Yeah, hey, You've just got to put cray in front of Zealand. New crazy land.
Yeah,
I'm serious, eh?
crazy landers. I like to call them.
See, exactly.
I like
I
that.
use it all the time myself.
Hmm.
I always refer to me as being from New Crazy Land.
All right, Roger, do you have anything more to add, or can we get on to the last topic tonight?
I would like to say that masturbation is good, and that for anybody out there who is sexually frustrated, just remember, masturbate and watch plenty of porn.
Do not do
And,
it while listening to Roger.
and if you really have a dislike for Donald Trump, we have just the thing for you. Yes, that's right. Our other commercial sponsor tonight, Orange Man Hand Bomb. That's right. You know, if you're still not over 2016, and you just cannot stop posting up about Donald Trump and the nasty orange man 18 times a day on Twitter, you know, and it's like you just cannot get him off your mind. Just grab yourself a bottle of the Orange Man Handball. By the way, for the really obsessed, it comes in the big jug size. Just go into the bathroom and go, Orange Man, Orange Man, Orange Man, Orange Man, Orange Man, and just take as many, go into that. You have to do it 17 times a day. Go right ahead. We've got plenty of it around because there seems to be plenty of people around that have Trump derangement syndrome. That's right, Orange Man Bad Handball. That's right. Available at stores everywhere. Okay, so is there anything more on this topic, or can we get on to the last one?
I'm good.
All right, last topic of the evening, and this one I think you'll find to be rather interesting because this is another example of what happens when. Hold on a second here. This is an example of what happens when they market a movie wrong and they try to play it off as something else, and it ends up being a decent movie because this is the second time because this is also what happened to Furiosa, right? They marketed Ballerina as this big bad girl power movie, and it was that, and it was like it. That's how they portrayed it, and of course they tied it into John Wick. And Keanu Reeves was actually in the movie. I actually saw this movie yesterday. I wasn't gonna go see it until I started talking to people who were actually like reviewing the movie, and it was like, yeah, no, she actually has a believable backstory. She didn't just spontaneously develop all of these skills. She had to train. In fact, the first third of the movie was her actually training for her role, like as an assassin, basically. It was actually the act. Of course, it was done by this. I think it was done by the same director, or it's the same fight choreographer who does the fight scenes for John Wick. So, because the fight scenes were stylized the same way, but the movie was actually pretty good. The only problem is that it didn't do particularly well at the box office because, once again, because of the way Hollywood has been doing with all these Mary Sue female girl bosses, everybody thought, and this was the case that happened with Furiosa as well, everybody thought this was just going to be another one of those female girl boss movies, and it's not. I would strongly advise. By the way, it's actually got legs because of word of mouth, so it might actually potentially. I don't know what the actual numbers are. While you guys are talking, I might have to go and do some research on this. It is actually a decent movie. The character does actually have a believable story arc, as in she doesn't like have all these skills just like miraculously by accident, like Rey did in Star Wars. Yeah. This is what happens when you abuse a genre so badly that it starts to bleed over into other movies, right? Because I seriously thought this was gonna be another one. Again, I gotta say this again. I thought this was gonna be another one of those Mary Sue girl power chicks where the woman can't do no wrong and that sort of thing, and that turned out to not be the case. But if you had looked at the marketing of the movie and the way it was advertised, you wouldn't have known that. You wouldn't have known that unless you actually go see the movie. And I once saw the movie and I was actually pretty impressed, right? A very believable story arc. It's not, well, it's in the same style as John Wick, so it's obviously not going to win any Oscars or anything like that. But surprise, and again, another victim of the woke industrial complex that is dominating Hollywood right now. And I kind of feel sorry because the actress in this movie and all the people who are involved in this movie put in a good effort and they made a good product, and nobody is going to go hard. Not enough people are going to go see it because of how Hollywood has been acting over the past few years and producing movies like this. And it's kind of unfortunate. I'm not going to go into it any more than that. I'm going to turn it over to DK, and then okay. So the order is going to be DK, Mr. Robot, V, Sonia, and then Roger's going to finish us off.
Hope nothing happened there. Let me go in here and check real quick.
Okay, so Mr. sorry, DK, you're up.
First of all, I got to point out something that I do all the time, and I've just noticed you do it as well. The word actually. I've noticed I say it way too often. Every time I go look back at any of my videos, I say actually more often than almost any other word. And you just did it yourself while talking about this movie, and it just made me think of how often I always do it. So I was just letting you know, that's constructive criticism. Just need to
I appreciate it. Thanks.
For something else every once in a while, because I do it all the time, and I've had people tell me about it, and even I see it now, because I actually do it all the time. But yeah, anyway, back to like this Ballerina, dude. I only found out about that movie today. Today was the first time I even saw an ad for it, and it had Ballerina, from like the producers or directors or writers, whichever one it was, of John Wick. And had the chick's face on one side, and then like a big slash sort of diagonally across the screen, and Keanu Reeves as John Wick on the other side. And it was saying from the producers of John Wick. So they're trying to change up their advertising game, because obviously what they did wasn't working. Because I had not seen any of the woke ads that you're talking about. But that was the first one I saw, and that was today. Where it was like, just going, from the producers of John Wick, and had Keanu Reeves as John Wick. Sorry, I don't mean to repeat myself. And Furiosa still sucked. I don't care how it was marketed. It was still a shit movie. Anyway.
Well, I did kind of like Furiosa. I have to pick between Ballerina and Furiosa. I would definitely think Ballerina is maybe like a step up. That's just, although I kind of did like Furiosa, but then again, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, well, I didn't like Mel Gibson after I think the first two were really good. Even like Thunderdome, the one with what was it, Tina Turner. Even that one was when it started to suck. So yeah, the first two are hard, rugged, like what actually happens sort of thing. And then it just starts getting like, let's make it like some futuristic thing.
Okay, so is that it? Okay, so
yeah, man, Wally, you're all good.
Okay, V, you're up. Oh, sorry, Mr. Robot, my mistake. Mr. Robot, you're up.
I haven't. This is literally the first time I've heard of this movie. I probably will check it out, but if it's anything like John Wick, I'll probably hate it. I thought that was one of the worst movies series that I've ever watched. It almost ruined The Matrix for me. So that's how bad it was. That's all I'll say.
I
going,
like the first one. I'll say that. Of the John Wick movies, I like the first one.
It was just all gore, brutality, and hardly any storyline in my mind. But
no, the first one's got storyline. The rest try. The first one actually does.
Fair enough. Anyways, you guys keep going.
Okay,
Sorry,
V, you're up.
to interrupt, my bad. Sorry.
All right, V, you're up.
To say the same thing, I've not heard of this movie. I say I've kind of kept myself isolated, and
Movies about the Jews.
so, those that shall not be named.
Yeah, those.
Yeah. I don't know.
Jews. Own Hollywood.
Give us all your money. Let us rot your brain.
We did it all for the shekels. What? The shekels. What?
Oh, I can't top that one. Oh, man.
I need to actually write that out. I just came up with that right then. I don't know where that came from, but I need to actually try and write some lyrics to that. That'd be funny as.
Instead of lemon biscuits, have soggy leaven bread.
Oh, God.
Oh no, I'd do worse than that. Believe me. What's that? What's this? Motzva. Oh yeah. If I even start getting into that, then I can cover lots more.
I'll tell you what, only on the Red Pill Nation, baby. Only on the red. This is where shit happens right here, man.
Dude, I love being on panels. I stream myself. I try and get on panels as much as I can. I only do one Rumble show a week myself so far. I still stream on D Live because they're not censoring me about anything anymore except for nudity and shit. But if I play something that's got nudity in it, I get a warning about things.
Oh, God.
What's your Rumble?
DK Spiracy on Rumble. This name.
All right, I'll check it out.
But yeah, here. Usually by this time in the stream, we've already said something that was sexually freaking.
Well, we were talking about gay dogs earlier. I mean,
that's not really the same, though.
See, I don't really be sexually degrading. I definitely be abusive, and I definitely be blunt about things.
Well,
and I talk about almost every topic and cover almost every topic.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, I've always had an issue when it comes to boobs. Okay, like if they don't have boobs, they're not real.
Hey, they can have fake boobs now. What are you on about?
I love fake boobs. Everybody else hates them. I'm like, dude.
Oh,
put 'em
dude,
on.
Trannies that got fake boobs.
Real fake. I'll take them. Sorry, V.
No, trannies that got fake boobs. No.
It's
Fake boobs with
No.
female genitals. Please. V. By the way, we interrupted you, so yeah, V. Carry on.
Sorry, V.
Oh, okay. So
That's all right.
I
People get to learn. Yeah, I don't mind being interrupted.
No, V. Not V.
I don't know. If the movie's good, I mean, I guess I could watch it. I mean, you guys.
I was trying to bring it back on topic.
After the boobs.
And moaning about it nonstop. Watch it.
He just went and watched the trailer. He's like, oh, well, now I know something.
Well, see,
Come on.
see, this is a video game first, though. Nobody remembers that. Like, John
Oh,
Wick.
was it?
Yes, it was a video game, and that's why there's no storyline, because it's really violent game. It's all about murder and killing.
I thought you said there was a storyline in the movie, though.
Well, the
Well, kind of.
character has the Ballerina has a believable story arc. Like, she's not a Mary Sue, right? That's what I was saying about about Ballerina having a story arc, right? Like, you don't watch John Wick for Oscar worthy content. Although I will probably say that John Wick was probably better than Amelia Perez.
Okay, well, I'm gonna mute. That's all I had.
All right, Sonia, you're up.
Okay, I have not heard of this movie either, and so I really have nothing to say about it. And I sent you in Teams the request for the avatar.
Yeah, I got the avatar. It's actually going to be coming up. Yeah, coming up here in about 2 minutes. For the end
Fantastic.
of the show. Okay.
And then
Um,
Roger.
And Roger, take the story out. Just remember to go a minute and 54 seconds so Sonia's avatar can come up for a couple minutes.
Well, my big question, I mean, because I haven't apparently heard of this movie either, but like, do the chicks have big tits?
Well, she's a ballerina, so she's got an athletic body. For a ballerina, she has a decent rack. Yeah, because we're males here. So
Hey,
oink oink oink.
because it's a movie, she isn't flat chested like real ballerinas.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Like, it's fiction if she's got any kind of boobs at all. Because I've never seen.
You've
I've
got to
never
have
seen-
the eye candy if they're
Yeah.
making a chick the lead in an action movie.
Right. Well, I mean, it's
They
like
think
you
like
know.
Tomb Raider, Resident Evil.
Well, at least like ballerinas. Name one ballerina that had boobs.
I couldn't name any ballerina.
I can't. To be honest, you got me there, dude. I couldn't tell you even the name of one because nobody cares, dude. You know what I mean? Come on.
That's because we don't have any culture because we're white.
Well, it's because we're.
That's why everyone hates us.
Well, it's because we're freaking men. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the real reason.
Like
ballet. What?
Men don't go to freaking watch a ballerina. You know what I'm saying? It's like, seriously, dude. And then what's
I would actually if I knew where to go.
One person at a time, please.
No, you only go there if you're trying to look like you're rich and successful and you want to be photographed.
And
it's basically your advertising expense to go there just to get photographed. And then your time and you have to sit through the shit. Same as like opera, I guess.
The sickest part about ballerinas isn't really the women, it's the men. Like, I don't understand how men are going to put those tights on, dude. You know what I mean? Because, like, you get up there, you're freaking in these tights where your balls are hanging out, and everybody can see your balls, and you're dancing around like you don't even care, dude.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, it seems super gay to me.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it's like freaking... Just hide your balls and freaking...
Yeah. Give the guys some shorts. The girls at least got a wee frilly skirt. Give the guys some shorts.
That's all I gotta say, Naroki. You had a good topic there. I did want to mention the part about the ballerina guys with the balls hanging out, though.
Yeah. Because Red Pill Nation. That's why we had to talk about that.
Yes.
That's why this channel is growing so slowly, because we keep it so classy on here that no actual mainstream YouTube advertiser would ever touch us anyway. So
I'll start sharing this around more. Holy crap. And I know I've seen you on other channels, Naroki. I just don't know which other ones I actually know you from. Are you on D Live?
No. I covered them all at the start.
Discord,
Of
Discord or Telegram.
Yeah, I am on Telegram. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's all right. I'll get in touch with Roger. We'll sort that out later.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I am at in order. So by the way, I'm almost at 200 on BitChute. I might even have crossed 200 tonight. But BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, MGTOW TV, Brighteon, and YouTube, and mine's Gab, MeWe, TLB Talks, and Getter. That's it for now. I keep talking about putting the stuff up on Spotify and whatever, but I never seem to quite get around to it. Maybe it's laziness or whatever. Right now, I couldn't have. What I'm going through right now, I wouldn't be able to afford Spotify. Wouldn't be able to afford to pay for Spotify right now because my money's that tight.
I can get it on your Telegram for free.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we could talk. We could talk afterwards. Anyway, the other news is, and I'm going to have to apologize for this because I kept saying I was going to, because I did have an Naroki 5 live stream, which is me doing a solo show. And I haven't been able to do it the last month or two because my schedules has been all over the place. And yeah, I keep, like I said, because of all this instability, that whole thing about P. Diddy and the trial, because I mean, Kanye West bursted in and almost caused a mistrial, apparently. So that whole thing, we're gonna have to do that particular special just on Kanye West, and I keep putting that off. What I'm probably gonna have to do is just set a date and just do it and get it behind us, and whatever we talk about is whatever we talk about, because we'll usually end up talking about gay animals and Orange Man banning Balm and all that stuff anyway. So, because that's what the Red Pill Nation is really all about.
Ballerina balls.
Ballerina balls. Yeah, and ballerina balls.
Let me point something out.
That's a new coined term.
Ballerina balls, yes.
Yeah, that's on Sonia.
It's official.
Thanks.
Sonia's term, ballerina balls.
We'll make up new chocolates. They're called ballerina balls. Yep, that's right. I'll have to come up with a commercial for that one.
I want to say something else, too, to make it clear. Fat chicks are hot.
Yeah, but that's only because they're they've got so much fat. Some of them are really hot.
That's right.
The only reason fat chicks are hot is because some of them got nice racks because they're a little on the hefty side.
No, you're thinking of hot in the wrong context.
And they like what they appreciate what they've got. You know what I mean? Big women love dick.
Okay, all right. Anything else?
Well, we actually went all the way there. I was trying to make it funny.
What a revelation.
I'm trying to keep it classy. Running things into the ground, brother.
All we gotta do is
level and keep digging.
All we gotta do here is have V pine on poetically about what's her name?
His name.
With that singer, what the hell's her one? The one that whenever she
Lizzo?
backs up, Lizzo. The one that when she backs up, there's a yellow light that has to come on, and they have to protect her from whaling vessels because it's
beeping noise. Beep, beep, beep.
You can sign.
Is she the one who tried to sue the taxi driver? Who's like, no, you're not getting in my
car. No. Although we did actually, I think we actually did cover that on the Red Pill Nation at one point. That woman made Lizzo look in shape, though. I will say that about that woman that sued that taxi driver.
No, they're kind of on a par. I don't think either of them were in fine form.
Yeah. Anyway, I will say this about Lizzo. Lizzo has contributed a lot to the community. You know, it's the guy who has to
Yeah,
put up
she
the way
buys
that the
lots of
guy
fast foods. The Chinese people are loving her.
the are
And
the
McDonald's
armed guards
franchise owners.
the armed guards that have to stand at every all-you-can-eat buffet, whichever town that Lizzo goes to. The guy who gets paid put up the whale mating calls and has to walk about 100 feet ahead because whales might get confused. The construction engineers that have to reinforce the hotel that she's at because if she walks too far to the edge, the hotel might tip over.
And even any stage she speaks on.
Yeah, the extra reinforced stage too. Yeah, I mean, she's a job creator. That one. That's the reason why she should be respected.
She gives the illegals something to do. Isn't that lucky?
Gotta bring those illegals in.
Everyone's got to make a living.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that is it for the show tonight. Unless anybody else has any parting comments, thank you everybody for showing up. This was probably one of the funnest shows I've done in a while. Thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you. We actually managed to get a decent number of viewers tonight too, which is a bit of a surprise. All right, I will see you again next Sunday. Take care, everybody, and that is it for tonight. Unless anybody has any comments, like anybody want to go out, get a whaling vessel, hunt Lizzo down, or anything like that.
I've just got to sign out a much love, no fear.
Right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I'm going to end it. Hopefully, we'll see some of you again next Sunday. Oh, and I will keep you informed about when I'm going to be doing that.
We got to do Diddy.
Yeah, we got to do Diddy, and not do Diddy, as in we got to do the show.
We got to do Diddy, man. Come on.
Come on now. Oh, so before you get off here, let me also point out to your audience as well as besides yours, we are also doing a live stream on Rumble Premium as well as on Kick, Twitch, X, and D Live, as well as on
Yeah, you're gonna have to show me how to do that. By the way, I'm always up for building my audience up even bigger because I mean, you can't stay insane unless you share your insanity with everybody else.
Bro, it's insane.
Hey, Naroki, we'll get in touch with Roger after the show on Telegram, and we'll get each other's contacts, and maybe we can all three of us talk and work out how to. And even grab Sonia as well. And we'll try and work out how to make things grow.
Oh, yeah, and Sonia, by the way, were you the one who wanted me to go on your show? Or was that the other woman?
It must have been the other woman because I'm doing Jaffe. And you and Jaffe, know each other and stuff, so.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It was what's her name? I can't remember what's her name right off.
Nancy.
Is that where I know you from? I know you from Jeffy's show.
Nancy Pladata. Okay, all right. So, guys, that is it for tonight. Thank you very much for showing up. We're all still all as crazy as ever, and we'll probably all still be as crazy as ever come next Sunday. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Talk to you guys later.